Hello, in this video tutorial we are going to discuss about Cyprus VAT. Cyprus VAT is similar to other VAT in other countries. Before we start, let's see the rates in Cyprus. The standard rate is 19%, the reduced rate number 1 is 9%, the reduced rate number 2 is 5%, and of course we have the zero rate. Now let's move to our example. Our first transaction is about products. Our company purchase item number 1 and sell item number 1. The purchase price is for 100 euros and the selling price is for 250 euros. Our second transaction is about services. Of course, you don't buy services, you only sell services. So, as I said, we do not purchase services, but we only sell services. So, purchases are not applicable, and we sell, actually we provide our accounting services for a total amount of 500. And the three transactions we assume that are subject to the standard rate of the VAT of 90% in order to simplify our example. So we have first transaction we purchase, the second transaction we sell, and the third transaction we sell again. Now let's discuss the accounting journal entries for these three transactions. The first transaction is the purchase, so we debit our stock because we purchased item number 1 for 100 euros. We debit the VAT receivable. This is called the VAT input. Input is on purchases, and we credit the person who sells this item. Let's name this supplier 1. So stock value is 100, the VAT is 90% 19, and the supplier, we owe to supplier 119 euros. This is transaction number 1. Now let's move to transaction number 2. We sell the item in the transaction number 1. So someone need to pay us. This is a customer. Let's name this customer number 1. Of course, we need to record our net sales. So credit sales. With the net amount. And of course we need to pay VAT for this one. And this is VAT output. 90% multiply 250 euros. And customer number 1 needs to pay to us the total amount of 297.5 euros. And of course we need to recognize our cost of sales. The cost of this item was 100, and we need to decrease the stock because now we sold this item, so we credit stock 100. Now let's move to transaction number 3. We provide sell services. So we sell these services to a new customer. Let's name this customer number 2. The net amount of our revenue is 500. And we need to pay VAT payable of this 500. VAT payable, VAT on sale is called VAT output. Our net sales is 500. The VAT is 500 multiplied 90%, and customer 2 needs to pay us the total amount of 595 euros. Now, for those who use Quickbooks, I open a company example 1, and we will record these 3 transactions. So, first transaction, we purchase the item from supplier 1. This item here, I name this item 1 for the total amount of 100. The standard rate here is 90%. I name this as 19. So we need to pay supplier 1 for the total amount of 119 euros. We record this. Now we sell this item number 1 to customer number 1. We find the item number 1. We sell this for 250. The rate is 90%, so customer 1 needs to pay us for the total amount of 297.5 euros. Now we are going to move to our third transaction, is the sale provision of accounting services. This is non-item. This is not stock item. This is services, so it's accounting fees, not stock part. We provide our services for the total amount of 500. The rate of VAT is 90%, so customer number 2 needs to pay us 595 euros. So let's see our journal entries. You see transaction number 1, 2, 3. You are left. You see the debit credits is exactly the same as I mentioned before. This is a sale of the item R, and the third one is the same, is the sale of the services. Now let's see the VAT. Let's see the trial balance. To see the balances, you see accounts receivable is customer 1, customer 2. We need to pay the supplier 1. And this is VAT input and this is VAT output. We have revenue two types revenue, and one cost of goods sold for the item we sold. Now let's move to our workings before the submission of the VAT form to VAT authorities. In order to submit the VAT form, we need to prepare some workings. We need to identify the net sales, the net purchases, the VAT input, and the VAT output. After that, we need to make a simple entry. So, let's move to our workings. Net sales. We made two sales, sale of an item and sale of services. So this is the sale of the item number one, and this is the sale of the accounting services. This is the net amount, it's 750 euros, and the net purchases was only the item that we sold for 250. Actually, we purchased it for 100 only. So these two amounts need to be reported in the VAT form. So let's write this to be reported in the VAT form. And now let's move to our liability. We have VAT input, VAT on purchases. This is refundable. If a company has only purchases, then the company has a refundable VAT. The next one is VAT output. This is related to the sales. And if we mix VAT input and VAT output, is the amount payable or refundable from VAT authorities. In our case is payable. I call this special account VAT control account. So the VAT input refundable is 19 euros because we purchase 100 multiply 90%. And at the same time we need to pay VAT. We sold this item. So we need to pay VAT is 47.5 euros because we sold this 250 euros multiply 90%. And again, we need to pay VAT for the services we provided, which is 500 multiply 90%. So you can see very clear here that our VAT refundable is lower than the VAT payable. So we have a liability to the VAT authorities. We zero these two by an adjusting entry. So VAT input, we need to zero this, and of course this, and transfer these two amounts to the VAT control account. Exactly there. So it's very clear that we need to pay to VAT authorities 123.5 euros. This is payable to VAT authorities. In that case, VAT control account has a credit balance. Okay, and of course we're gonna write the journal entry was for this working. And the journal entry is journal entry number 4 is debit VAT output to make this nil. This is credit VAT input to make VAT input nil, and the difference goes to VAT control account, in our case VAT payable. And of course we're gonna record this in our Quickbooks. Quickbooks has a special button about this. It's called File VAT. Okay, let's see the tipping before filing VAT, and next we see the difference, what we will change, what will be changed here. So VAT in detail report. Let's see our details here. This is our details. Okay, now let's file VAT return. This is the journal entry number 4. File VAT, and this journal entry will be done automatically by Quickbooks. You see, this is our calculations. We file this. We will pay later the VAT authorities. Now it's finished. Let's see the journal entry number 4. You see sales purchases now are nil, and VAT on sales and VAT on purchases now are nil, or are nil. And journal number 4, as I showed you before, it's this one. We recognize VAT payable, VAT control 123.5. We debit VAT output, we credit VAT input, and now our trial balance, VAT input, VAT output is nil, and the accounts payable now are increased because we owe to VAT authorities this 123.5. If we go to supplier center, it's clear that we owe to VAT authorities 123.5. It's very clear there. The first supplier is the supplier who sold us the item number 1, and there is another report in the Quickbooks where you can see the supplier balances. This one, we owe to supplier 1 this, and to VAT control account, which is the VAT authorities, 123.5 euros. Now, let's explain how you pay and submit. Let's move now to the completion of the VAT form. In this stage, I will explain you how to complete the VAT form. First of all, VAT authorities, once you register to VAT authorities, VAT will send you the original VAT form. VAT form is a triplicate form. It's a triplicate form and you need to complete only page 1 because page 2 and page 3 will be completed automatically because it's a triplicate form. Exactly like this. It's very important that many times a company maybe lose the VAT form, or maybe a company didn't receive the VAT form through the post. In that case, it's very important to know the deadlines and visit the VAT authorities and request to reprint you a revised VAT form. There are no copies in the internet. You need to visit the VAT to reprint you this form. And now let's move to point 3. As I said before, you complete only page 1 because this is a triplicate form, and once you complete page 1, it means you complete page 2 and page 3 at the same time. Let's try this. And now we're gonna move to the payment and the submission of this form to VAT authorities. In this step, I will explain you how you pay and how you submit the completed VAT form. Just to remind you that in our example, we have the following figures. VAT input equals to 19 euros because of our purchases. VAT output is equal to let's see to 142.5. Net purchases equals to 100 and net sales equals to 750. We need these 4 figures for our completion. This is a copy of the VAT form. Here is a period. Actually, VAT form provided by the VAT authorities, this here is completed. We do not need to write something. Here is the deadline of the submission. And we need to complete our boxes. So let's move first to the purchases. Here we complete the purchases. Here we complete the sales, the product sales and services sales. In our case is 142.5, and this is the total. So we have a VAT payable of 123.50, and here you need to write your net sales. This is our net sales, just to remind you guys that this is the item we sold and our accounting services, and here the net purchases, which is the item number 1. So our VAT is completed. We need to write here our name, we need to put here our signature and the date we complete this form. This is very simple. Now, once we complete the VAT form, we are ready to pay this amount payable to VAT authorities and submit the form. In this section, I will explain you the steps. The first step is to visit a local bank that VAT is cooperated with it. For example, Bank of Cyprus or Alpha Bank or Hellenic Bank, etc. So once you visit the bank, you need to have with you this 3-page VAT form and tell to the cashier that you want to pay the amount payable to VAT. The cashier will see stamp the page 1 of the VAT form and take the 3rd page of the form for the bank records. Just to remind you that bank cashier will stamp on the page 1. Page 2 and page 3 will be filled automatically because the VAT form is a triplicate form. Cashier will seal exactly here. This is the bank seal. And once bank seal there, page 2 and page 3 will be copied automatically. So after you follow the step 1, you need to take page 2 and page 1 to the VAT authorities. So you visit VAT authorities. VAT authorities will check and will see that you pay the VAT payable, because they will see the bank seal, as I explained you before, and they know that you already pay your application. And once VAT authorities verify your payment, they will take page 1. Before they will take page 1, they will seal, put their stamp here. VAT authorities, by putting their seal here, actually confirm that you submit your VAT to VAT authorities. Page 2 is the remaining page. Page 3 goes to the bank. Page 1 goes to the VAT authorities. Page 2 belongs to you, to the company, for your records. With page 2, you know that you pay your obligations, and you know that you submit your VAT to authorities. And later, VAT authorities will send you a VAT statement telling you that you have no balance with them, or you have balance with them in case you cannot pay your obligation, and you can use this VAT statement to verify your balance in your trial balance. I will show you an empty VAT statement. Unfortunately, VAT is only in Greek. Okay, let's see a sample VAT statement. Okay, this is a copy of the VAT statement. VAT authorities, they will send you this form, exactly the same in Greek, which means VAT statement. And here is the details. Is the opening balance, the movement, the amount you pay, in case you delay, some penalties, and in the end is the final balance for a specific date period. Thank you very much for watching.